Good morning, everybody. Today is November 9th, or is it the 8th?
I think it's the 9th.
I think it's the 9th. It's a Thursday. It's the first very cool day. Actually, it's a cold day here in southern Connecticut. And Susan and I are out on our route taking a bike ride. We thought we'd share some of our ride with you this morning. There may be one or two topics that I'll throw in that I'll talk about. Susan has recently purchased a new bike computer, and I might mention something about that. But anyway, thanks for joining us this morning, and click and subscribe at the end. Thanks again for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.
And if you can't tell, it's a cold morning out here. Gloves, scarf, boots, dress.
And actually tomorrow is supposed to be absolutely brutal cold in the teens with the wind chill, so no chance we're going to be riding tomorrow. See you again soon. Thanks again for watching. Well, today is November 9, 2017. Here we are in southern Connecticut, and it is cold this morning. Right now it's probably in the mid-30s. Susan and I are out on our first cold weather ride for this season. And tomorrow is supposed to be absolutely brutal cold here in southern Connecticut. Something like the highs of about 35 at best, but we're supposed to get incredibly strong winds, 40-mile-an-hour winds, and that's supposed to equate to a wind chill certainly somewhere in the teens. So between the wind and the cold weather tomorrow, very, very little chance that Susan and I will be riding in that kind of weather. But we took a ride the other day, and it was fairly cool, and we both really enjoyed the invigoration of being in the cool air, the cool weather. So we kind of did a little online shopping yesterday and decided to hedge our bets against the cold air, cold winds, cold temps coming up. And we ordered thermal riding gloves, thermal socks. I ordered myself a pair of thermal bib tights. Susan already has a good pair of cycling shorts and bibs that go over that, so she's all set. But we have our cycling jackets on. Susan has a cycling jacket and a windbreaker that goes over that to help keep her toasty. And she's wearing her overshoes today. I decided not to wear mine, but primarily because mine are kind of a pain in the ass to get on, honestly. So I'm thinking about getting the same pair that Susan has, which are much more convenient to get into. But apart from that, it is an absolutely beautiful day for riding. We got maybe a 7-10 mile an hour wind every so often, which is really nothing. Absolutely clear skies, temps in the mid-30s, so yeah, we're enjoying it. Susan and I both agreed that weather permitting being that there isn't snow or ice on the roads, that this winter season, at least once a week, we want to get outside and take a ride. We will be using Zwift for our indoor rides and a way of helping us keep fit and do a little training. We have a really nice basement in our home that is a walkout basement, so therefore there are windows full-size windows in the basement, so there's a lot of natural light coming into the basement. And we've cleaned it out quite a bit during the summer in anticipation of making it into kind of a real gym, with the focus being on indoor cycling. So we are very close to finishing that little project up, which essentially just means painting the concrete walls and the floors to make it a little more finished. But it is a basement. But as I said, we really like getting outside, and surprisingly, Susan does enjoy the cold weather. Without trying to come off as a sexist, but I think a lot of women just hate the idea of getting out in the cold air, cold weather. That's understandable. One of the nice things about cycling in cold weather is that you literally have to keep moving. So you do have a tendency to keep yourself kind of warmed up by constantly exercising and moving. Where a sport like downhill skiing, you spend half your time standing in a lift line and then riding the lift. You can get pretty damn cold pretty damn quick like that. So we've been on the road maybe 15 minutes, if that. And this is the first real part of the ride that is starting to work a little bit harder. So I already feel my upper body warming up quite a bit. Very comfortable. My hands are fine, even though these are relatively cheap gloves. They're providing enough protection for me that my hands are comfortable. But I do feel a slight bit of chill in my toes and in my shoes. So overshoes would have probably helped that out a lot. That guy's got to be cold. Holy crap. Sitting on a motorcycle doing 50 miles an hour and 30-degree temps, that's got to be a little bit cold. We're running slightly downhill right here, so it's kind of a coast and in the shade, and you can really feel the difference in how much colder you get by not pedaling and also being out of the sunshine. That's a nice little hill. Now we get to enjoy the downside of this hill. I think I mentioned that I am wearing a cycling cap. It's one of those caps that has a visor on the front of it that you can either wear flipped up or flipped down. Doesn't seem to work very well flipped up with my helmet for some reason, so I am wearing it down. And I do like it from the standpoint of providing a little shading from sun glare, especially this time of year, but it's just a little bit too low, and it's kind of getting in my field of view a bit. I guess it's something I'll just get used to during the winter. Not a big deal. A real beautiful morning for a ride. I'm a little surprised my eyes are not tearing up as much as they usually do in very cold weather. And every so often I do get a little bit of blast of wind, so I'm guessing I've got just a slight bit of headwind going on here. That's the train you hear over to my left. Runs along the shoreline here between my hometown and New Haven. Of course, it goes much further than that, but where we are right now, to my left, there's a marsh area, and to the left of that, that's where they somehow, years ago, managed to put in a train track. I'm going to take a right turn up here, and Susan and I are going to stop at our usual location. Boy, it's a nice spot. Okay.